Nice to have everybody. So who called this meeting?
Him.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yes.
Him. He's in there with us. He's up there too. So, this is really nice. It's always the usual suspects.
Troublemakers.
Yeah, the troublemakers. Those who are attracted to hearing. So, what should we talk about? What's on your minds? Do you want to have an open mic? Or do you want me to choose a verse? This is my last Bhagavad Gita class before I go to London to India. So, and I won't be back till March 21st. And I'll probably be missing in action for a couple of days while I figure out which time zone I'm in.
Yeah.
One of my sannyasi godbrothers told me I was sick, and I said, I get sick a lot. He said, people like us, we change time zones like people change rooms. They go from room to rooms. You're exposed to all this stuff, so. But what would any particular subject or any questions you want to have? Just open mic. It's your choice. I put it to thee.
What is better, Karma Yoga or Sannyasa Yoga?
What is sannyasa yoga?
That you give up everything, renounce everything,
Renouncing everything.
or keep working.
Well, what's the purpose? If we're going to, let's just analyze. If we're going to renounce everything, then that leaves a lot of time on our hands. You know, we don't have a job. We renounce family. We don't have family. We're not involved in the neighborhood or anything, you see. So that leaves a lot of time on our hands, and so what would we do? Go to the Himalayas and chant Om?
Come and chant Om here.
Or some people say, well, just go chant Hare Krishna. You see. So Krishna recommends that you keep what you have and use it in his service. Use it as an offering to him. Make your life an offering to him, you see. And that way you can engage other people. It's just like if someone comes and talks to myself, I actually had this happen years ago. If someone comes and talks, and here's Bhagavad Gita class given by me, and they think that philosophy sounds really wonderful, but I can't do like him. You know, I can't renounce everything and shave my head and not be married. I want to have a mate, and I've got a good career, and I can't make that leap. But then they see some grihasta, someone who's married. You see, someone who's in. Instead of wearing saffron, they're wearing pipe, and they work a job. They may say, well, what about that guy over there? How come he's not shaved-headed and wearing, hey, what about that guy wearing jeans over there? You know, why can't I be like him? What's he like? What's his story? You see, we say, well, he's a devotee. He's 100% devotee. See, so people can make that leap. I can blend my life into being like Bob. You see, I can be like that. I don't know if I could do this monk thing. It's very rare to find somebody who could just go from material life into being a monk. You see, so this preaching as a grihasta, as a householder, is very potent. See, people can say, I can do like that. So the devotee is engaged. Someone who is married, has a household, business, job, whatever. He's offering everything to Krishna. And according to Krishna, he's the true sannyas of this age. The grihastha who offers the fruits of his labor to Krishna. Of course, we have to keep enough to pay bills and keep body and soul together. But he who is a wage earner and offers nicely to Krishna and engages his life in serving Krishna, he's the true sannyas of this age. You see? That's what Prabhupada says in one purport. So, for us to simply, in ceasing work, to give up activity is not recommended by Krishna. You see? Because Arjuna said that. Well, why don't I just quit? I don't want to go, I don't want to fight. You know, I just want to quit and go to the forest. I don't want to kill these people out here. They're my friends and my relatives. Although they're on the evil side and they've been attracted by material gain, they want to conquer, kill us all, and then they'll divide up the world, you know, and everybody who fights and all the generals and people who fight on the evil side, they're going to get a piece of the action, you know, they'll have they'll have a kingdom, you see. But I don't want spoils of war. What if I just throw my bow down and walk away and go into the Himalayas and just quit everything? Krishna doesn't recommend that. He said, best do your duty, do your prescribed duty. And do that as an offering to me of love. You see? So that's much more practical and it's easier to accomplish. You see? Doesn't mean you're any less of a devotee. You see? And the sannyasis and the vanapras and the older people in saffron that are renounced, they're engaged in teaching. You see? So are the grihasthas. They're teaching as well. But the sannyasi has more time. He has more time to study and more time to preach. The grihastha has to struggle keeping a household going and everything like that, income like that. So it takes up a lot of time. It's a big sacrifice. So, but they're both preachers and they're both very potent. Does that make any sense?
At my age, I'm retired, so I don't have any work left to do. When I go play golf, I dedicate golf to you?
I don't know how you could dedicate that to Krishna, but perhaps you could. You know.
If you're preaching
It's an action.
during the game.
Preaching during the game.
No, you're not preaching. You say that in the mind, say, I dedicate this day to you. Don't you wake up and in the morning you say, I dedicate this day to you?
Yeah, not really. I don't say it like that, but yeah, I do. I'm expecting him to give some guidance. You know, I don't do it day by day. I've tried to do it on a life basis. You know, I'm going to give you my life. So it's just like, if it's like this, and people, we hear this all the time. This is a good subject that you brought up. We hear this all the time. I'm going to give my life to God. Okay? So, here's the way it works. If I have a $100 bill, and I give it to you, where's my $100 bill?
You don't have it anymore.
No, you've got it. I can't spend it. I can't go into the store, pull up at the gas pump and fill my pump up, and they say, well, that'll be $68. And I say, well, he's got my $100 bill. You say, no, that's not your $100 bill. That's my $100 bill. You gave it to me. So when you give your life to Krishna, Krishna will snatch it immediately and say, thank you very much. Now it's mine. It's not yours anymore. You see, that's the truth behind giving our life to God. So when you give it to him, he graciously accepts it. And now it's not mine anymore. So I don't have to give every day. I gave him every day. He owns it all, lock, stock, and barrel, as they say, So, and then I perform devotional service to him. But he owns me. But because I am performing loving devotional service to him, guess what? I own him. It says that in Upadeshamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami says, for one who performs loving devotional service to Krishna, it is as if he had purchased him. He belongs to you. You see, it's not just he's there, giving you and you and you and you. Now I got everything. Krishna doesn't just take; he's reciprocal. You see, so we give ourselves to him; he gives himself to us. You see, in other words, he says, you're performing loving devotional service to me. What was it? Does anybody remember? I just put something on my Facebook last night or the night before. Do you remember that? Boy, I wish I could. I can't remember. But basically, it's a quote by Srila Prabhupada saying that when we serve Krishna, he serves us as well. Now he's always serving us because he gives us air and food, and he provides sunlight and rain and whatever. But you gave him your life, so he gives you him. He gives you everything. He says, I'll provide. You won't lose anything. I'll provide anything you lack. If you take up loving devotional service to me, for those who surrender to me and perform loving devotional service, I'll preserve what you have, and I'll carry what you lack. In other words, whatever you lack, I'll give you, because you're serving me. So Krishna may decide, even though you've given everything and you don't have anything, you could be just a traveling monk, and Krishna may say, well, I want you to be rich. I want fortunes to come your way, because I know you'll use it in my service. You see, you won't waste a penny. You'll use it all for me. But I'm not looking for wealth. I don't want wealth. Krishna says, that's okay. I'm going to give it to you to use in my service. You see, I may give you so many things. I may give you fame, profit, adoration, distinction. I'm going to give you all those things that you wanted to renounce and give up. But I'm going to give them to you because you don't want them for yourself. But you may want them once you get a taste of using them for me. You only want them because, this is good that I can serve Krishna this way, using this money or whatever. You see. So, we offer every day to Krishna by giving our life. So, in retirement age, I'm like that too. What is your age?
I'm 71.
No, really?
Yeah.
Jorge, don't you hate this guy?
Yes.
We're 65.
Yes.
This guy's 60. 60. Ooh. He doesn't look 60. You don't look 65. I know I do, but I don't. You look quite young and healthy. Whatever we have left at these ages, let's give it to Krishna. You see, this isn't a time for profit or gain. We've already done that. We've played the tune that we're going to play in this life. When you get to be our age, materially, it's over. I see some people like George Burns. I think he made it to 100, or 99 anyway, and he was trying to work up to the last minute because he was making more money, more fame, more profit, more adoration, more distinction. Wherever he went, he wasn't that talented anymore, but he was George Burns, and he's 100 years old. Everybody's wondering, is he going to make it? Look at where he is. He's 96 now, and he's out. So he was still popular. He still had his fame, adoration. People, look at that guy. Isn't he wonderful? He's 98 years old, and he's still walking around, and he's working. We get to, you see. So, But little did he know that what's the use of working and profit? So you leave a bigger bank account than you would have if you had retired earlier. You know, Bob Hope is another one. He did that too. He worked up into his 90s. I don't think he made it to 100, but he
did, yeah.
Did he?
He did. He made to 100.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Working right up to the end, wasn't he?
Not quite to the end, but
As close,
pretty
as
close.
far as he could push it.
mhm.
You know, they go until their minds go. You see. So, so you leave more to your relatives for them to fight over and litigate. You know, or more accumulation of wealth and property and whatever. So, but you know, for us at our age, you know, the ship has sailed. You know, we had a good run. So,
Still running.
yeah, but let's take what energy we have left and perfect our spiritual life. Go back to Godhead. You see. Therefore, there's this ashram called Vanaprast, retired. You know, the Vanaprast. In past ages, the Vanaprast would leave home and go live in the forest.
Yeah.
And in this age, Srila Prabhupada said, for us, Vanaprast, Vana means forest. Prastha, the one who lives in the forest. So for us, in this age, our forest is the city. Because we're preachers. We're in Lord Chaitanya's movement. So Lord Chaitanya wants to save the world. So we can take it up and say, all right, now, what life I have left, I want to save the world. You know, one person at a time. 100 at a time if I can do that, but who can do that? Maybe Krishna will empower us. Who knows? But we make that offering, you see. My dear Lord, I'm yours. I always have been. It just took me a long time to realize it. I always have been yours. You always have been mine. But now the fog is clearing and I see clearly. And now there are some benefits in old age. You know, one benefit, among many, but one benefit is that we've been kicked by the material energy enough that we start to think, this stinks. I've been doing the same thing over and over and over all my life. And it's been good, but I still have desires. It hasn't fulfilled all my desires. You see? So we get knowledge. It's the school of hard knocks. You know, we've paid our dues and we've learned this material world really doesn't satisfy me. So if I continue doing the same activity and demand different results, then technically I'm insane. That's the definition of insanity, you see. So after so long in this material body, in this kshetra, this field of activity, this body, I say, I've had enough. My dear Maya, you've had a good run with me, and I'm finished. I'm not playing your game anymore. See? I know it's going to be the same old, a little different package. It's going to come out the same. So, later on in life, we've learned, you know, and we've paid a dear price for it, you know, from the pain of trying to navigate the material world. You see, so it's easier. There are advantages. You see, yeah, it is. There's many advantages. Of course, there are many disadvantages. The body doesn't work as well anymore, and you have to deal with that. But I mean, we write that off as Krishna's problem. I'm front and center, although I'm old and decrepit. I'm here to serve. So if you want me to serve you, you're going to have to give me strength or whatever. But I'll serve to whatever capacity that I can. Whatever you give me, whatever capacity you give me to serve, I'm willing. all I can say is, I'm here. You know, point me in the direction you want me to go. Give me the strength to do it, and I'll do everything. You see?
The Mall Bhakta in Los Angeles is to me a great example of that, because
Yeah.
here he's in his 80s,
Yeah.
and he's so vital,
Yeah.
and he just continues and he just serves. But I do a group just kind of on the same subject with age and what happens to people as they get older if they're engrossed in the material world. So an observation I had this week was on Monday, I do a group for senior citizens at one of these big facilities.
You didn't invite me?
That didn't- You're not old enough.
I'm perfect.
No, these are folks that are like in the 80s and 90s. So yeah,
Oh.
you're young compared.
We're both young.
Yeah, you're young. So I asked that, just kind of like jumping off from the way we talk, who are you, who's the real you, that kind of, and so I decided, I think it was something that I kind of gleaned from your lecture on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I asked the group, just as a curiosity, who are you? Who's the real you? It stumped them. It really did. I mean, and so one woman to my left, who is in her 90s, early 90s, she said, without hesitation, I am a child of God.
Mm.
And I'm here to basically do service and make the world a better place, and to be positive. And she, of about probably 13 or 14 people in the room, she was the only one that had an answer.
Mm.
Nobody else had an answer. They just kind of like, they kind of went to the standard, I'm a male, I'm a female, and my name is such and such, I'm a retired so-and-so.
Mhm.
And they couldn't really identify who is the real them inside. And then a lot of people went to the cynical side of, which I think is why people become cynical. They put all of their eggs, so to speak, in one basket. They think, like you say, the material realm and that all their efforts is going to reap some kind of grand benefit. And what they discover in the end, that here I am in this, facility with a bunch of other retired people who don't have, half their family is missing, maybe they have no family or friends left, and they're sometimes they can't walk, they can't, they have a lot of infirmities.
Mhm.
And so therefore they get depressed, they become cynical, and their concept of what their life was all about is nothing. It's very sad.
Yeah,
They're
they're
really,
they take a lot of prescription drugs.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and these are people who claim to be, I asked them, how many people in this room identify as being Christian, which of course, most of them raised their hand. Now what does that tell me? That means that somehow their religious practice and teaching did not implant them with any useful information, other than when they die they think they might go to heaven.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
So,
And the outside world has a tendency to believe that everybody goes to heaven
yeah,
when they die.
yeah.
You ever notice that, for instance, my stepfather, God rest his soul, he was a rotten guy. He really was a rotten guy. And I didn't go to his funeral, but my brother and sister went, and he was their father. And I said, did the Reverend, how did it go? Well, it was great. The Reverend had such good things to say about him. He was a good man. And I'm thinking, no, he wasn't. I mean, I could tell you, and you'd say, yeah, you're right, he wasn't. But when you're there at the wake, nobody's saying, I'm glad this son of a gun is dead. And everybody says, Jai, yeah. We know where you went. Yeah, boy, you're on fire now. Bet you'd like some ice water. Never. They probably didn't even do that at Joseph Stalin's funeral if he had it done.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they don't do that. They assume, well, he's gone to a better place.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that? As you sow, so shall you reap, but he's gone to a better place. Why? Because he died. That's it?
Mhm.
If that's all I have to do is go to heaven, then I'm gonna let my health go, and I'm gonna die as, eat a pound of sugar a day, and, do everything to shorten my life so I can get the heck out of here and get to heaven. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, so, yeah, unfortunately. Not that their religion couldn't have given them some deliverance.
Oh, you see that one woman.
Yeah, absolutely. That one woman, she was.
Something worked for her.
Yeah, and the vitality was there, and she had this really. She said her concept of life was positive expectancy, and here she is in her 90s. She expects, kind of like that bumper sticker you see, "Expect a miracle."
Mhm.
You've seen that. So I said, great. I said, because there's an old metaphysical concept or book was written probably back in the 30s or 40s called "Thoughts Are Things." I don't know if anyone has ever seen that before. It's a very short book, "Thoughts Are Things." It was one of the early metaphysical teachers that began to instruct that what you think is the beginning of how you behave, which then creates a whole chain reaction of what you receive.
Yeah, yeah.
So thoughts are things. And so she says, I wake up with a positive expectancy.
Mhm.
Wow, great.
Yeah, Stephen Covey.
There you go.
He taught, part of his teachings was start with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of people who have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
well, they see it
Mm-hmm.
and take possession of it now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be successful in business, then how does a successful businessman walk? How does he talk? How does he dress?
Mm-hmm.
You see, who does he associate with? Take it now. Take possession of it. See yourself there. So it works even in material things. But the same thing is in spiritual life. You have to see. You have to have that vision. Even though I'm a fallen soul, I'm a personal aid to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see, hold on. I forgot to turn my phone off.
That was good timing,
Shoot.
though.
Good to hear.
Oh,
It's Krishna calling.
it is. I have to take this. It is.
It's God calling.
It is. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Well, yeah, usual suspects. Got Aaron and... Yeah, Tim brought Bob. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Sean is here. Jorge, yeah. Karen.
Hello, Krishna.
Yeah. Sean says hi. Everybody say hi to Krishna.
Hi, Krishna.
Yeah, they're all saying hi. Yeah, I'm kind of like right in the middle class, so.
As if you didn't know.
Yeah, can I call you back? Yeah, okay, good. All right, what? Yeah, me too. Say it? Okay. I love you. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I will, all right. No, I still have 4 to go. I'll channel before I go to bed. Okay. Yeah, me too. I love you too. Okay. You know how he is. Jeez. How do you know I had those 4 rounds to go? That's probably why I was calling. Anyway, sorry for that interruption. Did you have a question?
Yeah, this is the first time I've come to this class.
Oh.
Could you explain why you have this bloody wrench?
Why I have one? I don't know. Krishna's present within all of us. That's Paramatma. We're the Atma, the soul. And we have a glow. And Krishna has a glow as well. So some people can actually see auras. I can't. I see different things, but I can't see auras. So, but I don't know. I guess it's because Krishna's there next to me in the heart region, and he's communicating with you through the aura. Could be. But yeah, I don't know. I've had people that say they can read auras. I don't know what auras have to say. But, So, where were we before we got so rudely
By
interrupted?
Krishna.
By Krishna. Yes.
Well, I wish that more teachers would talk about renunciants and householders, and I think that each one is a call. It's a call that you seek, and not every. The scriptures I've read have said that very few are called to be renunciants. That's a definite call and a difficult one. Well, we see it as a difficult one, but when one says yes to it, it just fits. It's what you're supposed to do.
The rewards are enormous.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, I took the renounced order of Vanderprost 9 years ago, approaching 10 years ago. And as I started to travel around, I'd see some of my godbrothers who were still grihasthas, and they'd say, wow, it's got to be tough, And I would say, it's not really, I mean, you've got to cut the grass tomorrow, You've got to go to work, and you've got to do this, and you're concerned about having enough time to read and having enough time to do this, and you wish that you could do more and whatever, and I'm kind of free to go wherever.
You're not thinking about the roof that you have to replace in your house in 2 years,
No.
any of that.
No, I'm not concerned about that. And, don't you miss having your own place to keep your stuff in? Having a home. I have homes all over the world. I've got rooms that I stay in, and there's a room that I stay in when I go to Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, and different places where I stay in India. I usually stay oftentimes in the same room. In Mayapur, I'm usually in the same room, and I love them. I think it's wonderful. They're maybe austere according to American standards, but the floors are marble. The bathrooms may not look. They look pretty much like American, but they're a little different, So things are a little different, but, it's pretty ecstatic. And I'm always feeling that I'm in my favorite place. This is my favorite place. Of course, Tucson is a little bit more favorite. That's why I spend a lot of time here. But I'm always eager. When it comes time to leave, I feel sad to leave, but eager to get on to the next adventure. And the trip itself is an adventure. It's part of the whole thing. I don't mind the travel. It's like when I go from San Antonio, I go to Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's 2 10-hour days, 2 hard 10-hour days, because it's a long way to get there. So I drive 10 hours and usually get a little over 600 miles, and then I pull over, spend the night in a motel, get up and go a little over 600 miles the next day, and I'm a little tired the next day, but I get over it. But I know almost every those mile markers that you pass, the number. I know almost every one of them. I've given all names. And so I know what's coming. I know what's up ahead. And so good places to stop, and it's just I make it part of the fun. So it's the renounced order is pretty sweet. It's the conception that we have of it that makes it not appeal so sweet. We think I have to give up all my stuff.
Or when it's forced, like the Roman Church said, it's a rule. If you're going to be a priest, you have to be celibate.
Yeah.
And I don't think it can be forced. It has to be a call.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to take the call.
You do. And that celibacy is a freedom. It's an incredible freedom. I mean, we could talk for hours about that, but it really truly is. Spiritual life is very, very wonderful. Material life is not so. But we can spiritualize what may look like a material life by doing it as an offering to Krishna. We perform whatever I do it as an offering to Krishna. And then we have to realize, well, does he want this? I mean, like I'm going to go to happy hour and I'm going to do that for Krishna. You know, I'm going to go because they've got 2-for-1 margaritas or whatever, so I'm going to go have 4.
One is for him and one is for
Yeah.
me.
So I order one and say, bring 2. Bring 2 for 1, bring them both right now because he wants one. Oh, not drinking yours? Okay, you know. That's kind of nonsense. So, but yeah, it's I recommend it to all my friends. But it's not, like you say, it can't be forced. You know, I promised Srila Prabhupada that I would renounce, that I wouldn't just retire and stay at home and bounce grandkids on my knee. I have grandkids and I see them from time to time, but I don't have to have them every day. You see, I don't have to. And I see my children. They're all grown, but you know, from time to time. My son lives in Hawaii. He moved to Hawaii in Honolulu. I went to see him in September and gave classes at the temple. And it turned out it's part of my service. And it turned out that the leaders in the Honolulu temple said, you know, we don't get a lot of folks coming through here, and certainly don't get anybody in Saffron. And gee whiz, would you come back? And they want me to come once a quarter and then go island hopping, because over on the big island, there's 200 devotees over there, and they're dying for, you know, and then other, let's see, Maui, and there's another one that they said there's some. So there's like 4 islands. Kauai, I think there's some devotees on Kauai, you know, and so I paid to go see my son, and I stayed at the temple. They have a nice room, nice guest room, right next door to Srila Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada stayed in that temple. And so they're saying, you know, we know that you're poor, you're renounced, you don't have anything. Gee whiz, we'll pay your way if you'll come every quarter. You see? So, you know, I'm not going to Hawaii to lay on the beach or anything. There's nothing wrong with laying on the beach. Prabhupada told the devotees when he went there, I think it was 1975 when he was told them, he said, he asked the devotees, so do you go to the beach? And the devotees wanted to act real renounced and said, no, don't go there. Prabhupada said, why not? You should go every day. Not that you stay out there all day, but you know, go. It's very healthy to take in the salt water, the little bit of sun and the salt air. You know, you can chant while you're sitting on the beach. So anyway, we can do so many. We can offer everything to Krishna, and like I say, so Krishna takes over. So he's like, here you are, you're scrimping and saving, you're getting nickels and dimes here and there, and you're putting it together so you can go to see your son. But while you're there, you're preaching in the temple. You see. So in other words, it's not just to go see a relative, although I spend a lot of time with him. Krishna says, so, I think I'll do something nice for you. I think I'll arrange for you to come here more often. I know you can't afford it. You see. So I think I'll make the arrangement. So Krishna makes better arrangements than we do. So that turned out to be his plan. And so now I get a message every so often, you know, from the authorities there. When are you coming back? We were talking about every quarter. It's been like 4 months. So we know you're going. When you come back from India, when can you come? Let's make an arrangement. You know, this is instead of 4 times a year. Now it looks like it's only going to be twice a year. So now I'm being pulled that way. So you know, so Krishna's pretty sweet when he gets down to it. You know? So we just depend on Krishna, and then he says, "All right, you're looking for me to make a plan. boy, wait till you see my plan. I got a great plan for you. You see. So, yeah, I just depend on Krishna and take what he sends. And he takes better care of me than I need to be taken care of.
Takes care of all of us.
Yeah. People say, how can you exist? You're just basically a homeless beggar. I depend on him, He's got a big wallet, and he's very generous, and very easy to please. He's giving love, and he picks up the tab for everything, So, if I need clothing, he sends money. If I need whatever, it's just, there's plenty there. Actually, more than, so if Krishna plays a game with you. He knows that whatever I give you, whatever is donated to you, you're going to have to use that in devotional service. So I've got a way to get you to do more service. I'm going to send you more donations. Because as the money comes in, now you've got to work harder to spend it. Not for yourself, but, for serving him. So it's not like, wow, my bank account is growing. Oh, this is good. I think, God, my bank account's growing. Oh, man, what am I going to do? All right, so one thing I've decided to do, because Krishna's so kind, he's so sweet that, he knows how to win your heart, So we have this Temple of Vedic Planetarium that we're building in Mayapur. It's a magnificent, it's the biggest temple in the world. The temple room will be 1 acre. 10,000 people can fit in it. And it's a marvelous work of art. It's just, it's breathtaking. It's under construction, but when you see where we're going, it's just, and it was predicted by Lord Chaitanya and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who lived across the Jalangi River from there in Mayapur. They all predicted one day that there will be this magnificent, gigantic temple, you see. And so Srila Prabhupada, that was his desire, that we build this temple. And so Ambarish Prabhu, my godbrother, whose name is Albert, his last name is Ford. You got it. He's the great-grandson of Albert, of Henry Ford. He's the heir to the, and he's given millions of dollars. He's been a devotee maybe a little longer even than I have. I think he joined in about the 74, 73, I don't know, like that. So, and he's given tremendous amounts. So he gave $27 million. So I'll throw $27 million in the hat, on the table. And so, which is about, decided we would build a $30 million project. And then we thought, well, wait a minute. We're forgetting that Krishna will send. So we decided to do a $60 million project. So, just to make it, this is an offering to Lord Chaitanya, an offering, it's a work to glorify A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, because this was his last instruction. You should do this. And so, in order to please Krishna, and for the Lakshmi that he's sending my way, I'm going to make a donation. I get to make a donation to the temple. When I was a Grihastha, I used to give what some people thought was a lot of money, but I could have given more. I could have done much better. And it was very pleasing. Very pleasing. It's the gift that keeps on giving. When you give to Krishna, the benefits are eternal. So, and I kind of thought, boy, those were good days when the temple would call me up and say, hey, we've got this project, can you help? And I said, well, yeah, how much do you need? Well, can you spare 10,000? Well, yeah, I think I can, yeah, I can do that. But I found that the more I gave, the more it came in. You know, I would give it. Next thing I know, bam, I would be closing these big deals. And I think, oh, it was the same game. Then I thought, oh, so got to do something else with this, you know. So then they would need another. Can you know, we're going to do this project and it's going to cost X thousands. Can you help? Why, sure. You know. I remember one time Tamal Krishna Maharaj called me up. I had just come in from a business trip, and the phone rang and I picked it up, and it's TKG. He says, "Hey, can you come over? Or, you know, I know you just got home. Can you come over? You know?" And I said, "Well, sure." You know, and so I went over and I said, "What's up?" And he had my godbrother Prabhu, who's a brilliant carpenter, very brilliant, very, you know, very good at what he does. And he said, "You know, we have this Tulsi house, little Tulsi house like the one we have here," which was pretty average in those days. This was in the 80s, I think, maybe the 90s, late 80s. Anyway, he said, "We've decided we want to do something nice for Tulsi. We want to build a nice Tulsi house so that we can have more, and Tulsi will be taken care of nicely." And Sri Rag has drawn up this really nice plan, and I looked at it, and it's like it's a temple for Tulsi. And I thought, you know, it's a greenhouse, but like a temple. And I thought, well, that's beautiful. And I said, how much will it cost? And he said, Sri Rag, how much? Sri Rag says 20,000. You know, I was sitting there thinking, 20,000. You think, okay, I've got this one that I know has just closed, and maybe another 3 more. Oh, I said, all right, yeah, I can do it. And Tamal Krishna says, "I don't want you to give the whole 20,000. Don't you want other people to share? I mean, you want all the," and he looked at Sri Rag, he says, "That's just like him. He wants to steal all the mercy." He said, no. He said, "All right, if you're willing to give 20, why don't you give 10? But do it like this. Why don't you say, I'll match anybody's donation. You give 1,000, I give 1,000. You give 100, I give 100. You give 50, I give 50. You know, you give 5,000, whatever. I'll match it. And that'll inspire everybody, so their donation will be double. They get the credit for giving twice as much." And I said, "Well, that sounds great. Let's do that." And we raised the other 10,000 just like that. People were giving. You see, so every time I go to Dallas, I see that Tulsi house, you know, and you know, it's just this memory hits it. You know, it's kind of like Tulsi is saying, "Thank you so much." So if you get the blessings of Tulsi, you know you got the blessings of Krishna. You see, so I'm able to give to the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. And we're selling a square foot. You can buy a square foot for $150. So I'm able to buy more than one. So, and I feel good about that. You know, it's Krishna's mercy. He's given it to me. So, like, hey, what are you going to do with this now? Here, I just parked some money in your pocket. What are you going to do? I'm going to give it to TOVP. Na. You know? You see, so if anybody has any spare money that they can kick in for this TOVP, they've asked me to help them in North America to help see if I can let people know. You know, you can make this donation if you can. If you say, "I can't afford $150," well, you know, whatever, $10, whatever. So, but we're going to do it. We're going to raise the rest of this money. We're going to build this temple. We're going to open it in 2016. We're going to do it. You see, if we perform the work and put forth the effort, Krishna will send the money. But he's not going to just throw it at us if we just sit back and say, "What are you going to do?" You know, we have to do our share. We perform we make the offering to him. You know, the sacrifice. He'll take care of it. So we're going to do it, and that's where I'm going to be spending 6 weeks of my 7 weeks in India in Mayapur. You know, they're seeing progress on that temple. So, and I've seen it come from nothing. You know, there used to be a fountain there. Now there's this gigantic, and every time I go, it's just like growing. And now it's immense. So, if any of you want to see it, you can find it at www.tovp.org, I think. It's either .org or, it's not .com, it's .org or .net or something like that. You can see it and it'll knock you over. It's a real masterpiece. It's not, Hare Krishna. It's not just a temple. It's a Vedic planetarium that shows how the universe is built, how it looks. When we read the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where it talks about this magnificent structure of the cosmos, Prabhupada says in the beginning, you probably won't understand this. It's very difficult because we're trying to see it through eyes that are looking up. You know, and the description in Srimad Bhagavatam is what it really looks like from Krishna, looking at it from a different angle. So what we see through our telescopes and whatever is not exactly the way we think it is. But the Bhagavatam says how it really is. So we're going to build this temple of Vedic planetarium so that you can see. You can see, oh, that's what it means. Now I understand, you see. And this was Prabhupada's desire. And of course it's going to be a temple of worship. It's not just a planetarium. So it's going to be magnificent. So, and I hope we can all go there someday. Someday soon. So, how do we get on that anyway?
Just what we do with what Krishna gives us.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, whether we're a renunciant, a monk, or householder.
Yeah. And it does keep on giving. I thought, you know, with what, you know, like one time the Dallas Temple was going to put down this granite floor, and they didn't have any money, but we needed a nice floor. And if you're going to do a floor, let's do granite. Let's offer granite to Krishna. Now let's see if we can come up with the money. So I did the same thing. I said, well, I'll match anybody. So we did that. We raised money for the granite floor. And so every time I walk down the hall in Dallas, and wherever I go on that floor, I'm thinking, hey, you know, got a piece to do with this. So I'm thinking, well, every time I go to India, every time I go to Mayapur and see the TOVP, I think, well, I helped a little bit, you know. I'm not able to give 27 million, but if I had it, I would. So, but that's what we can do. That's the offering that we can use our energy, our thoughts, words, our actions. We can use money, whatever we have, Krishna will accept. Well, we have to offer it to him in love and devotion.
Could you repeat that? www. Go slow.
www.tov, as in Victor, P.
.org.
I think it's .org. It might be
Org.
.net. It's either org or net.
Or net.
Yeah,
Okay.
one or the other. I can't remember those.
Thank
But
We have a brochure, yeah. I can get her a brochure.
yeah, okay,
We
good.
can actually get
Yeah, before you leave, let him give you a brochure. And there's this one thing they have on there where you can click and it shows somebody has done this computer really good job of like as if you're in a helicopter and you're flying around the finished product. It's computer generated, and you get to see this magnificent monstrosity, you know. So the devotees thought, well, we'll build a temple. Then we thought, you know what, this is an offering to our guru, so this is an offering to Lord Chaitanya. Let's make this grandiose. This is the biggest project that we've ever done. This is the biggest project that anybody's ever done. You know.
Can you
So-
see it from the sea first? So that boats can come up and take
From the Ganges.
From the Ganges. Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be boat docks on the Ganges, so you can sail up the Ganges from Kolkata
Hmm.
or down the Ganges and your boat. And it's very close to the Ganga, very close.
How do you decide who staffs it? Who's going to be there?
Oh man, we've got lots of people, but that's a good question. We're pulling people from all over the world. We're saying, come on, please. And, we need people to, what do you call them, guides? You know, take people around and show, you know, what do you call those?
Docents.
Docents?
Docent.
Yeah, okay.
Maryland.
She told it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just phenomenal, the amount of service that's available. But, you know, it's employed so many people in West Bengal. And they've got the best engineering firm in India. And they're using one of the best materials, and they're doing a really great job. There was a law in India, in West Bengal, on how high a building can be. And it used to be, for many years, the communists were in power in West Bengal. And so the communists, of course, they don't like anything to do with religion, and they were in the way of everything we wanted to do for years. Even to the point when we wanted to start the temple, we had this idea of where we wanted to put it. Prabhupada had said he wanted it, he suggested it, though it wasn't a direct order, he said it. I said, you know, I envision it being here on this particular piece of land. And as the years went by, we had bought some land surrounding. Our Mayapur campus is probably a square mile. It's like a village. There's about 8 hotels, there's 7 or 8, 10 restaurants. It's just fabulous. And when I say restaurants, everything from Italian food, Russian food, tremendous amount of Russians go there. And so, anyway, we were going to build it on some of this land that we had bought. But the communists said, no, we're not so sure that you actually own that land. Well, no, we have the bill of sale. Well, we're not sure that that's actually legal. So, well, what can we do? Well, you can sue us. We can tie it up in court if you like. Which we tried, you know. So then, just about the time that we thought, well, all right, it's time to start this, the TOVP, we decided, all right, let's put it where Prabhupada suggested. So, we thought it would be better back here, but let's put it here. As soon as we started, the communists were voted out. And now we have a better government, and they're favorable. And so we went to them and said, hey, we're going to build this building that's gigantic, and but it's far above the height of a building that law allows. And so they changed the law. You know, roads are getting kind of worn out from Calcutta out to Mayapur. We'll build another road. You know, behind us.
It'll be to their benefit at the end.
Right.
Well, I think they're seeing that. I mean,
Millions of visitors.
yeah. I mean, we already have, I don't know how many millions a year that come there, because it's already an incredibly large project. It's the biggest thing in that part of India. Our campus is. ISKCON Mayapur is unreal. Everything is huge. The deities are 7-8 feet tall, you know, and it's just, the temple room is like the size of almost the size of a Walmart. It's huge. So yeah, they're already reaping benefit. We've brought incredible economic benefit there. And so they're seeing, wow, it's just going to get more. Wow, this is incredible. So anyway, it's pretty sweet. So
Krishna. Right? Krishna land.
Krishna land.
yeah. That's not a bad name. So yeah, I mean we're talking about service to Krishna here. And service to Krishna is the same as Krishna. You know, that's our relationship. So, you know, the devotee, you can see what I mean when you say the devotee, he gives up his life. In other words, I don't want to build a big temple for me or a big house for me. I need a big house. But it seems like wherever I go, I'm living oftentimes I'm living in a big house. You know, when I go to London, I'm staying in this Bhaktivedanta Manor, which is this gigantic mansion that George Harrison donated. You know, it's the lord of the manor lived there. It's just absolutely elegant place. Staying in Krishna's temple, staying in the same house that Krishna stays in. So, this life of austerity is really not that bad. I never had it so good, as a matter of fact.
It
So,
can be the same for a householder if the thinking is right. If you know that what you have is from God
yeah,
and belongs to God and you're giving it back to God.
yeah,
And as in our home, we decided that we recognized everything was from God. So we decided from the beginning that we would never lend. If we had it and we needed it, we would give it. And it's very hard for people to understand that. They'll say, well, I'll pay you back, and say, there's nothing to pay back. We didn't lend it to you, we gave it to you.
yeah. Now see, that's renunciation. That's renunciation. That's not a business deal. Out of love, I give it to you. I'm unattached. You see, I'm not going to keep a score and say, okay, I gave you this, so I'm kind of expecting it to come. No, I won't lend it, but you can have it. You see. So,
And it does, people do pay it forward.
yeah.
My sister needed a stove, and we gave her the money for the stove. She wanted to pay it back, and we said, no, we didn't lend it to you, we gave it to you. So then she sent, what she would have sent back to me, she sent it to another sister who needed it.
Yeah.
So she paid it forward.
Yeah, I remember, and you get great pleasure from that. I remember in 1976 when I was going to India, to Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada was there. He gave class every day for a month. So anyway, the temple president, he was then the temple president, Uttama Shloka, called me. I went to Chicago on business a lot, so I frequented the Chicago temple. I'd go there every time I went to Chicago. And so he called, and he knew that I was doing okay. And this is 1976, and he said, look, I've got some book distributors that I promised I would send them to India, but I don't have the money, We had this repairs in the temple. Could you lend me some money? And I said, well, how much? And he said, $2,800? And that was $1976, so that was a lot of money. And my knee-jerk reaction was to say, well, I'll just give it to you. But I thought, all right, he may say, no, I don't want, you may make him feel uncomfortable. Well, our friendship was such that he was asking for a loan. So, all right, let's play the game. I'll give you a loan. As a matter of fact, I'll travel with you. We'll exit U.S. from Chicago. I'll come up there, and then we'll leave from Chicago, and I'll give you the money when I get there. Or you need it now, or whatever. So anyway, we made so long I don't remember the details, but I made the arrangement. He got the money, so we all went to India, and it was very nice. And then about 6 or 8 months later, he called me. And he said, okay, he said, first of all, I want to apologize that it's taken me so long to talk to you about this, but I want to discuss the payoff of this loan. And I can't pay it all at one time. I wasn't expecting you to. So I'd like to make it in payments. And I said, well, I've changed my mind. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not going to accept your payments. And he said, I don't understand. I said, you don't owe me anything. It's a gift. It's a donation. See, and it felt wonderful to do like that. But that was my plan from the beginning, But I gave him the loan, and then didn't. And this gentleman, when we were building this big, like a convention center we have in Houston. This one Indian gentleman, we were trying to raise money to do that, and he says, well, I'll give you a loan of $250,000. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there, and he said, all right, thank you, that's very kind. you know. And he said, well, what about, he said, oh, we'll discuss payback later. I said, oh, okay, all right, if you want to. So we went ahead and built the center, and then the next year we were having, it was a festival. He came to the festival, and he said, okay, so this year I would like to talk about that loan. And you know, everybody went, oh, dun, dun, dun. And he said, the loan no longer exists. It is now a donation. You know, really? Whoa. Really? I mean, really now. Don't kid me like this. No. It is free and clear. So, obviously, amazing things happen, you know. And then later on, we had somebody donate $22 million to the Houston Temple. You know, similar thing. You know, it started out, it wasn't like a donation, but as it ended up, it was. Whoa, you're kidding me. So, you know, Krishna's got all kinds of resources, you know. So, you know, always expect big things from Krishna. You know, he doesn't do anything small. So,
I think we need to make friends with Oprah. Oprah has probably more money than God.
yeah.
And she's always giving it away to somebody.
Yeah.
Somehow she's very generous. It'd be just
Yeah.
great to...
She went to our temple in Vrindavan.
Did she?
Yeah.
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 She's
Of course, the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan is the jewel of Vrindavan.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
just amazing. And she liked it a great deal,
Mhm.
you know. So she knows who we are. We need to make contact with her, I guess. You know. I can tell her, hey, you know, I grew up in Chicago. I'm a holy. If you've got any of those old, you know, they've come out with these new $100 bills. They're real pretty. They've got all this.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you've got any of those old, ugly
Ones
ones
that hang
lying
around.
I'll take them. Even if they're wrinkled and torn. You know. So I think we've got about 5 minutes left. Any more questions, comments?
Just a quick comment on the, you know, it just occurred to me while we're listening and talking, this is like such a wonderful, intimate group. And, you know, what they used to call salons, you know, people would gather together for the dissemination and discussion of wisdom. And Tim and I were talking this morning that really our culture, our current culture, modern culture is so decadent at this point that there really is no avenue for the dissemination of wisdom. I mean, at all. I mean, really, when you think about it, the current philosophical currency now is entertainment. If you turn on television, that's all it really is. It's basically, you know, B-rated entertainment, with the exception of maybe PBS. If you
And you're being generous.
and and I'm being generous, and or you know, just sports and you know, and basically entertainment of every level. But that's where people gravitate to, you know. And when I hear all the, you know, I work next door to a big company, and most of the employees are all these young kids in their 20s and whatever, 30s. And you hear their conversations, and they're downstairs and they're talking about, yeah, we're going to go to the clubs tonight. And they're all in with their cigarettes, and they've got their cell phones, and they've got their big, you know, gulps, and you know, and this is, you know, you kind of watch them, and you go, wow, this is their milieu, you know, which is nothing but superficiality, and there's zero wisdom. There's no dissemination of wisdom at all in our culture. Unless you happen to be lucky enough to be in the higher echelons, and maybe you're going to a really top-notch school, and maybe you're taught the classics.
Right.
But remember, the classics were eliminated from schools a long time ago. There's no more, you know, the kids aren't even exposed to Shakespeare or, you know, any Greek philosophers or anything like that at this point. And again, unless you're at a really high level. So I kind of like feel like organizations like ISKCON are really the last environment where the dissemination of wisdom can actually reach the masses.
Yeah, and real wisdom.
Real wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, who are you?
Who are you?
It answers the questions that they've assumed cannot be answered. because we can't do it on a computer, we can't work it out on a mathematical equation. And the question is, is there life after death? Is there a God? What does God want? If there is one, what's he like? Tell me something about him. Why should I like him? What's so good about God? Oh, we hear God is good, God is great. What's so good about him? Well, he gives you stuff. He gives you this and he gives you that. Oh, so he's my order filler. Well, I don't believe you because I prayed to him. I wanted to go to the prom with Amy Lou Harrison. She turned me down, so he turned me down there. I wanted to get accepted into Harvard. He turned me down there, so I don't believe you. This guy's not taking care of me. He's taking care of that guy over there. He's not taking care of me. So, so these are questions that people need to know. Typically happens in our youth. There's a period in our life where we go through this. I wonder about God and what is my relationship with this world, and we don't even know how we relate. We don't even know that we do relate. You're a human, I'm a human. You're a male, I'm a male. You're an American, I'm an American. And we're both out to grab all the gusto we can. And if I don't act quickly, you're going to get some of mine. But I think I can get mine and maybe some of yours. And if I can do that times several people, then I get more than my share and I'll enjoy on a higher level than everyone else. You see, that's the wisdom that we have. And it's barbaric, which puts me, everyone's my competitor. I'm going for the same thing you are. I want to go as far as I can. I want to enjoy as much as possible through my senses. And yes.
I just came in here, so I have a question.
Certainly.
Is this about the Kali Yuga?
Yeah, we're in the Kali Yuga now.
Yeah, could you explain, the Kali Yuga is at the bottom, and then it goes up, and then the golden age is up here?
Yeah, well,
Could you explain what
it
that
starts out in Satya Yuga. That's the first yuga. It's also the longest, and it's paradisical. Very much, but the Earth planet is like in paradise. It's wonderful. It's not like they say, like people living in caves or whatever. And I'll explain that. But you go into the next yuga, which then there's a little bit of vice, and also people live long periods of time in Satya Yuga. Everything is mode of goodness. And the next yuga comes on, there's a little tiny bit of vice. People don't live quite as long, maybe a little bit of disease. And then the third yuga even more. So we come into Kali Yuga, and that's like, they're like seasons. Spring, winter, summer. So anyway, we're in the winter. This is the Iron Age, the Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. You see, godlessness everywhere. You see, so Lord Krishna came at the beginning of Kali Yuga 5,000 years ago. Kali Yuga, like his mercy, is also the shortest yuga. It's 432,000 years long. 5,000 years of which is expired. Krishna came at the beginning of Kali Yuga to give Kali Yuga a good spin, because at that time the demons had taken over. That's what the battle of Kurukshetra was about. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of the battle to restore the righteous kings and annihilate the demoniac rulers. You see, this was Krishna's desire, because he didn't want Kali Yuga to start off with demons in charge. He thought, I want my devotees in charge, righteous. So it's going to degrade, but it'll degrade slower and less if I have King Yudhishthira, my great devotee, as king. And so, and then 4,500 years go by, and then Krishna comes again as Lord Chaitanya to make it, and he opens up a golden age. It's like a 10,000 year window of opportunity. For 10,000 years, we're going to give you the highest prize that you could possibly get for free. In other words, you don't have to go sit on the mountains and om and do all. You don't have to do that. In previous ages, you had to work real hard, and hopefully you could attain perfection. Out of many, many millions of people who tried, one might attain perfection. And of many, many millions who attain perfection, Krishna says, hardly one knows me. You get perfection in that you may be able to, at the time of death, go merge into the impersonal Brahman. You don't really merge, but you go there. You can do it without love of Godhead. This love of Godhead is really hard to get. It's the ultimate secret that sages had to go many millions of lifetimes to finally of what we would call perfection, to finally understand what the topmost, the sweetest nectar of all, what's the point of all of this? To have a loving relationship with Krishna. You see. So Lord Chaitanya came, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya. And actually, Radha and Krishna combined together as Lord Chaitanya. And they open up 10,000-year window to get out of jail free. All you have to do, and I'm going to send my devotees. First, Lord Chaitanya comes and he distributes, he tells everybody about, you do devotional service, you'll win Krishna's love. Chant Hare Krishna, perform service, and you get a free ticket out of here. At the end of 10,000 years, the window closes. So let's get them all out of here if we can in 10,000 years, as many as possible. But at the end of that, 9,500 years from now, it closes, all bets are off. Kali Yuga starts going down, 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 and according to Srimad Bhagavatam, at the end, towards the end, men are reduced to ape-like creatures, living in caves. So the things and after that, at the end, it'll start all over again. So when we find evidence of ape-like men living in caves, that's not from our beginning, as we've assumed. It's from the end of the previous Kali Yuga. You see.
Wow.
And the dinosaurs, all that stuff was at the end of the previous Kali Yuga. All that will happen. They've got it, but they've got it backwards due to their speculation. Because they're thinking so much we've advanced now, we've seen the world advance. So the world is going this way because of economic development. And I know nothing about God consciousness, but we can see, Darwin was caught up in that economic development age. What do they call
The Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution. See, so he could see progress is, we're going in the right direction. No, we're degrading because the more economic development we get, the less spiritual. We're losing it, you see. So they made the assumption that we're going up from down, but we're going down from up. You see. So, and the assumption for their frame of mind was logical. For a materialist, they think everything is getting better. You see, why someday we'll have greater technology, and it'll be this and this and this. So, and yes, but just like you were saying, even our colleges, the classics are studying. Where do you go to learn this science of God? Where can you go to perform devotional service to the Supreme Godhead? You see, where do you go to learn about it? There's so many different religions, and they'll teach you so many things, and all of them will take you to all these places, but none of them will take you to Krishna. You see, you may get liberation, and you can do all these things, but that aching, annoying void in your life is still there. I'm not getting enough love, and I want not material love. I want spiritual love. I want love of God. I want eternal love, you see. So instead of having to come to that on our own, Lord Chaitanya says, here's the lottery ticket. You just won the lottery. and you, here's one for you.
Yeah.
And here's a whole truckload of, just go kill them out. Just chant Hare Krishna, perform loving devotional service, come back to Godhead. But that's just for now. It never was like that before Lord Chaitanya came, and it won't be like that after 9,500 years from now.
Oh.
You see. Right now, things are somewhat artificially good because of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. You see. Actually, because Lord Chaitanya came, what really is a dark age is the golden age of enlightenment.
Really?
Because love of Godhead is free.
Yeah.
No one ever thought of it. People were thinking, I think if I meditate, I can go merge with God. I can become one with God, so that I'll be God. And they chased it, and they did all, so they would perform great penance and austerities to get that, to get yogic mysticism, so that they could, at the time of death, they could transfer their life's heirs up into the top part of the skull and leave through the top of the head. I mean, it took a lot of hard work to get that kind of mystic yoga, only to be liberated into a situation where you still have love of Godhead. You see? So now Lord Chaitanya says, all right, let's just give this freely to everyone. Why? Because I like you. I don't know. Was it? The Musketeers used to say, why? Because we like you. Or love you, yeah.
Is it like
Should have been love you, but
it was
Love,
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 wasn't it?
because
Yeah.
I love you. Okay.
I don't fight, okay? Show the love.
Listen, I was a Musketeer.
Yeah.
Had my little hat.
All right, I've gone over, so
You know, like how if we say if we're thirsty, water, 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 it doesn't quench the thirst. And I respect Lord Buddha because he is an avatar of Krishna, the beloved Krishna. Why then is there a result in the meditation itself? In other words, some very dynamic people have meditated and gone to certain states of consciousness, like there's the Buddha boy. I don't know if you've heard about the Buddha boy. There's something very paranormal about this boy in India that meditates. Why is there a result that may confirm for those that have no remembrance of Krishna that that path may be valid?
valid for what?
The appearance of enlightenment?
Well, what is enlightenment?
Well, it's just the appearance of that there's something supernatural and spiritual about the person, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, meditating in itself, like some of these yoga Buddhists can really go into that, synergy of the universe, whatever that
Well,
is.
no thought.
An accomplished yogi can create a planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you like what I've done?
So,
with the
okay,
thing?
so now...
No, you think that you
Let's follow that. So now you have a planet.
What?
Let's say you create a planet. Let's say you get to the point where you can go through a wall. You can dematerialize and rematerialize on the other side. Or there are still people on Earth who can come to Kumbh Mela by coming down the Ganges River. They walk on the floor of the river. They can control their life's air. That's really wonderful, isn't it? They don't have Krishna prema. They're not going back to Godhead.
So there's sincerity in that piety of focus and determination and fixing on the oneness that is.
Oh, it's
That's
very
the result.
wonderful. Oh, it's impressive.
So these symptoms are the
But
result
you've
of
got
that.
more spiritual advancement than they do.
One day.
Because you chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
You see? You've attracted the favor of the Supreme Lord. They've got all kinds of mysticism. They can do all kinds of things. It's not uncommon in India to find somebody who can do paranormal stuff. It's always been. So the yogis, they spend so much time, actually life after life, getting the potency to go do something that's not going to fulfill them. And some people will argue because they don't really care that much about love, or they don't know that they do. But that's what we're all about as living entities.
It's like what you nicely said earlier. all these other paths can give you liberation into heaven, but they can't give you Krishna. And some nice scientists, like Carl Sagan, very great humanitarian, very attracted to the Vedas. He thought they were the closest we had to a marriage between science and religion. Very smart, astute man. But he could see the fragility and of some paths.
Mhm.
So he didn't really have any knowledge of, maybe it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't deny, we're not saying Krishna consciousness is the only way. We're saying it's the only way to Krishna. And it's not for everybody. Prabhupada said that. This isn't for everybody. You see. He could have loosened things up. There's so many yogis that amassed great numbers of followers and so much money, so much fame, profit, adoration, and distinction. And so at one time, Prabhupada was being interviewed, and they asked him, how many disciples do you have? And Prabhupada said, for the want of anything genuine, the followers are very few. For want of anything rubbish, the followers may be very many. Still, I have 5,000 initiated disciples. Now, Prabhupada could have had 50 million. But he would have had to give up the truth. Take up the 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds a day, dedicate your life to Krishna. You see. These other guys weren't asking so much. You see. They were good at making you feel good and feel good about yourself. And they did give a lot of people some hope, you see. But they wouldn't take you to Krishna. And some people may say, well, I don't really need Krishna. I'm attracted to this God thing and the merge thing. I like that mergy thing. I want to do that, I want to go be God. I want to be still. Some of that philosophy, which is really appealing. But it's not going to take you to Krishna prema. It's not going to take you to the ultimate love, prema. You don't get prema. You see, you don't get it. So, this is such a rare thing. We're not saying we're the only way. We're saying there's all these destinations, all these paths, and the average guy, most people, ain't ready for it. They'll fight you and say, come on. Your belief that God's a little blue boy, see, it's just like, they kind of like this redneck. You give them this elevated spiritual philosophy, and it goes into their redneck mind. You mean God's a little blue boy? You want me to go play with him forever? I don't think so. I get to go merge when I die. Who are you going to merge with? Well, you're not going to merge with nobody, boy. I get to merge. Now they say it more eloquently there, but it's redneck. It's low class. It's elevated material thought, but kindergarten spiritual thought. It doesn't take you to love of Godhead.
I've heard it said that even if you look at an image of Krishna, the fan that's been spinning has been now unplugged. And of course, the analogy is that the propeller is still spinning, but generally it slows down because you've seen God. So paradoxically, since Krishna is working with us on such a unique level as independent Jiva souls, it's like if you're kind to all living species and you're pious, and clearly Krishna will arrange certain mercies for us to.
In 1976, when I was in Mayapur, I heard Prabhupada say that one who's chanted this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra one time is not long for this material world.
Is not long
for this material world. Soon you're out of here. Now that might be 5, 10, 100 births, but you're finished because you've uttered that sound one time. Even if you say it in an insincere way, that starts a process. You say, you've got Krishna's attention. Krishna says, wow, what is that you said? This Maha Mantra was a deep secret
Mm.
until Lord Chaitanya came. It was closely guarded. Lord Chaitanya was criticized greatly by the sages of the age for distributing it freely. They didn't know he was the Supreme Godhead.
When we went on Harinam in LA for October in Los Angeles, hundreds of people were there, and of course we were chanting, and all these people were moving. You know, really, you know, some were mocking, but some really liked the sound. And, you know, this is like a support group. I almost started crying because I knew that just by them waving their hands, just by them moving, that their bhakti's begun, you know. It's just so incredible to witness, you know.
Yeah, in 1976, later in 76, we had the first ever Rath Yatra in New York, down Fifth Avenue. The city closed off Fifth Avenue. We took the 4-story carts, 3 of them down Fifth Avenue, and Srila Prabhupada was riding on Lady Subhadra's cart in the middle. And so we went down to Washington Square Park. We had this big festival. We had thousands of people. We had drama and music, and then so after it was over, we had to get these gigantic carts back up the island to 63rd Street Pier. You see, but we didn't get to use Fifth Avenue. As soon as we went down Fifth Avenue, as we were going, is opening back up. You see, so we had to go side streets up Manhattan Island to get over to 63rd Street and go over to the 63rd Street Pier. You know, so we're going through these neighborhoods that were questionable at best, and people were hanging out of windows, and be it they're on the sidewalk, and they're all making fun of us because we're all, you know, dressed like devotees, and we're all chanting Hare Krishna. The drums are going, you know. We weren't quiet. We were still doing our thing and pulling those big carts back. And so when we got back to the temple, Srila Prabhupada was still awake, and he said, "So, the carts are back." And yes, Prabhupada. And he inquired, what was it like? You know, I don't remember his exact words. You know, what took place. And this one devotee said, "Well, Prabhupada, they were making fun of us. Many people were chanting Hare Krishna like, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare." And Prabhupada said, "Yes, you have saved. They're safe." That's the potency and the mercy that goes with the holy name. Finished. It's over. Soon, some lifetime, maybe this one, but we're finished. We're out of here.
You're not gonna be here no more, and who's gonna be here? Do you have your supervisor say who's gonna be here?
Oh, but these guys, the usual suspects are going to be here. I'll be back in March. I'll be back in March. March 21, I come.
You're already missing him too.
Well,
We have friends, you know.